Hello, my name is Sean Daly, CEO of Carbon Soul Group. The purpose of this video is to provide further public information in response to submissions made and to provide further detail on the proposed bioenergy park, Stonehall, Shannon, County Clare. What I plan to do is first of all go through a 3D animation of the layout and workings and operations of the site, and thereafter seek to answer those questions which have a common thread as per the submissions made. There's also further information submissions and reports have been submitted to the Planning Department of Clare County Council, which are available for your review. So starting with the 3D animation. Looking from West Park, the industrial estate, and over the airport, you can see the Shannon Bioenergy Park. As we come around by the former Shannon Aerospace, now Lufthansa hangar, this hangar is higher than the two highest buildings on the site, which are the two gasification units. Here we can see the main entrance to the site. There will be no access off the Stonehall Road. And these two gasification plants, to be clear, only process wood chip. This is biomass from forestry harvesting, and there are no others. There is no other type of material, agri-waste. These gasification plants can only process biomass wood chip, which will be sourced working with local producer groups and the forestry sector in the region. This is not a biomass boiler. These are gasification systems. They do not burn biomass. What these do, they act like an oven at high temperature. The biomass wood chip is baked and it's further broken down into a rich syngas. And it's this syngas then that will be used to produce renewable gas, but also to produce electricity and heating through the renewable gas CHP. So as we rotate around the site, you will see that this is the CHP, the combined heat and power plant, and taking the syngas from this plant, it will convert this through an engine to produce electricity and heating. The electricity into the battery storage area and out to the grid for use in the region. As we come around the site, you will see there's no access on the Stonehall Road. And as we come around to the back of the site, you will see some other labels, and I will explain how these interlink. So from this gasification plant, the syngas produced from the wood chip comes through this building here and piped into what is a methanation and upgrading area. And this is generally where the gas is filtered and a little oxygen added, and it is then pushed out into the gas network pipes outside, or into a truck, which will be filled, and as it's filled, once it's filled, taken off site. So there's no storage of the gas on site. The reason for this is that not all towns in the area are connected to a gas network, and it enables us to provide renewable gas to more than those just on a gas network. As we come around the site, you can obviously see there's plenty of water storage, and there's a lot of engineering and safety measures included. As we come around here and looking at the biomass area, we are receiving green biomass. This is as it's harvested. The branches, anything that's not used by a sawmill would be chipped at the roadside of the forest, and it will be brought to the site. So it will be a 40 to 50% moisture content. We were told maybe 6 to 8 weeks of stock. And the reason for this is that we can then dry it using some of the heat and put this into the gasification plants at between 6 and 8% moisture content. Therefore, the wet biomass is not a fire hazard and it's not combustible. However, we will have all the safety measures in place. So moving off and around the site and looking at it coming from the Lufthansa side, the expectation is to have it planted with various trees and shrubs. Now, This is a very good explanation on how the various elements work. So when we look at the buildings, they're color coded as where the gas and the wood chip goes. So as we see, the dry biomass goes to both the gasification units. And from this gasification unit, where the wood chip is baked and broken down into a char and into its gaseous elements, producing a rich syngas, this then goes across and into the methanation and upgrading area. And as I mentioned previously, trucks are filled as it's produced and bought off-site, and it goes into the gas network. We would plan maybe 1 to 2 trucks a day off-site, with the majority of it going into the gas network. And you can see from the second gasification plant, the rich syngas goes across into the combined heat and power plant. So again, there is no biomass burnt on this site. So there will not be the flues associated with burning or the emissions associated with burning biomass because it just doesn't happen. And again, the electricity to the batteries and out to the grid. And as you can see then, from all the processes, we capture heat. And this heat goes through thermal energy storage tanks, hot water tanks, and into a building where we exchange this heat and through heat exchangers and pumps out into the district heat network. So the district heat network, as per the planning submission, will be to serve as the Shannon Group Industrial Park. You can see we're coming over at the back of the airport. We will come into West Park and the industrial estates and down towards the airport. And the reason for this is that fossil fuels used here and the requirement for heat is 50% that of all that's used in the town. So we can have the greatest positive impact in reducing the carbon emissions from burning fossil fuels to heat these buildings. Now, we have also been working under the Climate Action Fund, and in line with climate action plans, we put in expressions of interest to the department, and based on a successful planning application, we would then seek to work with stakeholders in the region and look to see of the interest to put this district heating out to the residences and other commercial buildings in the town. And what we're hoping to achieve here is that by adding carbon-free heating to the residences, we increase their value and reduce their reliance on fossil fuels and the carbon taxes associated with those. And that is saving to the residential owners. So as we move along, I wanted to show you the overall impact of carbon offsets from this bioenergy park. So taking the 3 different elements from the renewable gas to the renewable electricity and heat, what we're looking combined is offsetting 67,500 tons of carbon emissions, CO2 per annum, with over 1 million tons offset over 15 years. So the next part of this public information video will be a question and answer session where I'm seeking to answer those common thread of questions which have arisen and which will be answered in more detail under the further information as submitted. Thank you. In follow-up to the video and the explanation over how the system works, I'm now following up with a questions and answers session.
Okay. The first question, John, is this site suitable for the proposed development?
The site is zoned under the local area plan for mixed enterprises, including specifically bioenergy, green energy developments, including district heating. This is very important, not only in a local and regional context, but under national policy and climate action plans. So yes, the site is very suitable for it, and as per the local area plans and regional development plans.
What are the environmental considerations that were taken into account for this development?
Well, obviously there would be a lot of different considerations that had to be tabulated. These include those of the residents, include those of the airport, and include the general requirements as per any planning submission. And under the further information request, we went into a lot of detail where these reports are available as submitted. These include a suite of different studies, from mature impact statements where we don't infringe on heritage or European sites of interest, include ecology, noise and air pollution studies. And what all of these have in common is that they show that this is a development of low tier impact. And what that means is that we come at the lowest level of impact. And within those, there are requirements on what the emissions would be from such a development. And the studies actually show that we're even well below the limits that are under those type of low tier development.
There was a question raised over the emissions and the ash from burning of biomass.
I can totally understand this. There's a lot of information in the public domain about biomass boilers and wood chip boilers. But the fact of the matter is, and as per my previous video, this is a biomass wood chip gasification system. So we do not burn biomass.
Is there any use of any other agricultural waste on site that may emit odors or pollutants?
No, definitely not. All we will be using is wood chip. And the reason for that is that the technology, the gasification system, has to be designed around the available resource. And the only available resource that's going into this site is wood chip.
It leads to another question. Where is this wood chip sourced?
Well, over the last number of years, we've been doing a lot of work working with local harvesters and suppliers. And actually, Clare has a well-established producer group. A lot of these suppliers and a lot of the private forestry that's in Clare, actually, there's more private forestry sector than public, have been supplying into Finsa, which has closed a number of years ago. And so it's those we're going to be working with. It's coming from the greater Clare region that we will be getting this wood chip supplied into the plant. It also helps in better forestry management. We've seen over the last couple of years an increase in forest fires. And this stuff that's left on the ground can act as a tinder box. So, you know, it's leading to more sustainable and better forestry management as well.
With that level of wood chip turning up to site, what were the impacts, or what will be the impacts on traffic that would bring this wood chip to site?
As I said, this is a very efficient production facility, and we're looking at 24 trucks a day. So it's not a lot of trucks when you take into consideration that would be coming in off the major motorways, through the dual carriageway, and then through the wider road there. We are not accessing this site off the Stonehall Road, just off the main road.
Will you be connecting to the group water scheme?
No, not at all. The group water scheme is there for residents. We have an application in with Irish Water, and Shannon Airport and the industrial estate have water connections there coming through close to Lufthansa hangar.
I suppose one of the biggest questions we've been asked is there an impact to the airport or to aircrafts with this development?
No, so we had to meet with the Irish Aviation Authority and Shannon Airport Authority. And one of the prerequisites was that we would have to do studies by their registered independent companies who look at the impact of any development on the airport, on the navigational aids, and on the airspace. They look at any potential heat that might come out of flue, any emissions, and all of these. And these studies are available on the furthest information as submitted. But in general, it shows this is a very low impact development.
And our final question for the session is, what are the benefits of this wood chip development to the local area in Shannon?
Well, from a supply side with the wood chip, we're looking at 5 to 6 million going into the local private forestry sector. On an employment basis, there will be 48 people employed directly in the operations and another 100 in harvesting and haulage. During the construction phase as well, and the district heating, the numbers will probably somewhere between 60 and 80 over a couple of years. So then on top of that, we're taking a resource that's in the area, and we're taking that wood chip and we're converting it into renewable gas, renewable electricity, and renewable heat to decarbonize Shannon. So Shannon, having this innovative history, having the first duty-free zone, having the first district heat pipe, which was based on oil and old technology, we are now looking at rebranding and working with Shannon Group Properties as a carbon-free zone. I have set on regional enterprise development assessment programs with Enterprise Ireland, I'm very aware of trying to attract foreign direct investment from the IDA, and what a lot of these companies require is security in energy. They do not want to be reliant on fossil fuels because of corporate social responsibility. They want to know that they can provide the energy they need to heat their buildings and to run their operations, and know that it's sustainable and from the area. And so we would hope that we will bring a lot of these benefits to the region and to the residents. We have expressions of interest in under the Climate Action Fund, and I'm working subject to approval. We would then look to work with stakeholders who may want to see this district heating coming out into their residential areas and providing cleaner, green, decarbonised energy to the residents as well. And obviously there will be programs put in place on socioeconomic benefits as well. Thank you.